There are lots of reasons that couples want to have an engagement session. Some of them want them for their save the dates or their wedding websites. And some of them just want to have some fun doing something they love doing together.
Well, John, you asked for me hand in marriage. I suppose it's time we announce our betrothal.
I suppose it is. How shall we announce it, my dear?
Let us go to the arboretum and take a pictograph amongst the flowers where you first kissed my cheek. It'll be very romantic.
Oh, it will. I'll phone the photographer.
Now, I know you may be on the fence about having an engagement session. I can already hear you saying, it is just another way for the wedding industry to get money out of my wallet.
What inspired you to
shoot engagement sessions?
money?
Well, guess what, buddy? I am not that kind of wedding industry professional. I have other, more virtuous reasons for wanting you to have an engagement session. My name is Cindy, and welcome to Weddings Demystified. Speaking of engagement, please do the YouTube thing for us and hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell so that you get notified every time we upload a new episode. There are lots of really good reasons to have an engagement session. First is because you're gonna need the practice. Chances are the only time you've been in photos together are in selfies or in other just informal group pics. And the first time you both have professional photos taken, you will quickly find out how you feel in front of the camera. You may be complete naturals, and we may be asking you, have you seriously never modeled before? As the wind catches your hair and you strike a pose from the cover of a cheesy and terrible romance novel. But those couples are kind of like finding a unicorn.
Aw.
Before you get to portraits on your wedding day, you want to have a little bit of practice being in front of the camera. And that's what engagement sessions do. And your photographer gets a sense of how much direction you need. Can they just say, look towards the sky, and you'll understand what they're trying to get? Or do they need to explain exactly what they're looking for? Turn your head 45 degrees to your left, and then tilt your head 35 degrees upwards, while also doing something about a cosine with your butt. Of course, a good photographer isn't gonna make you feel like you're a robot. And they really don't care how much direction you need. They just don't wanna figure it out on the wedding day. There are also times when your photographer will need to decide if they can put you in a more uncomfortable situation, such as 100-degree direct sunlight when you're in a three-piece suit. If the shot is gonna look badass, then we wanna go that extra mile and get that photo for you. But if it's gonna take you 10 minutes to get into the pose and you're sweating and you're gonna get more and more pissed the more they're there, then we don't wanna do it. Really, we just wanna know before the day if you're gonna be able to get that more uncomfortable pose in 10 seconds or 10 minutes. Just like a great TikTok, you don't get it on your first try. You need to practice. This might be the first time you're being asked to get close to your partner without kissing, the first time in a while you're doing a piggyback, and the first time you're asked to do a proper dip. Oh, looks like we're getting a call from Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Cindy. I just wanted to chime in with a little more information about posing. Your photographer is probably going to ask you to do a few poses you only ever seen in magazines or social media. You know, how to drape yourself around each other, how to hold hands, even how to kiss. Quick tip, try to avoid turning your head too much, or we're just going to see the top of your head and the bottom of his chin. The engagement shoot, it serves couples in so many ways. Practice definitely makes for perfect wedding photos later, and who doesn't want to have an extra excuse to have fun on a double date?
Thanks, Joe. Besides getting comfortable being in front of the camera and practicing poses you just don't naturally do every day, the engagement session is also the special sauce, secret ingredient, the chemical X, that lead to building the most important elements on a wedding day between you and your photographer: trust and rapport.
Hi,
Hi, I'm your wedding photographer. We are meeting right now for the very first time. Hi, this is one of the most important days of my life. I'm so glad I have never ever met you before. Great, I am gonna take thousands of intimate and extremely personal photos of you. Excellent. I am so glad we didn't practice this or spend any time getting to know each other. This is going to be completely natural. What could possibly go wrong? Getting to know your photographer before your wedding day, make sure that you know that their style and their personality is a good fit for you. I hate walking in the cold. Don't you? Don't you wish you had a cozy sweater, a cup of hot cocoa, and a nice warm fire to make it all better? That's what an engagement session is. The comfy, cozy sweater of trust that makes the wedding day that much better. The great moments, the interaction, and the confidence to be creative when your photographer has a wild idea. Do you know how many times we get complimented on the engagement photos during the wedding day? We see a shift in how the bridesmaids and groomsmen react and listen to us, knowing we've already crushed it for you once. For very little investment, you get a fun experience, beautiful art, and build trust for the big day. The engagement shoot is likely bringing you the best value of any of your wedding-related purchases. Your engagement session is also the time you'll probably let your guard down the most with your photographer. Talk a little bit about your family, and perhaps let them know that your niece just so happens to be the very apple of your eye, and that she also happens to be a cake monster. Because of that offhanded comment, your photographer is going to remember to keep an eye on your niece, especially once the cake is served. That's what it takes to get amazing, candid shots. I know this sounds like we're just asking you to do another thing, and you've got a busy life on top of all of the other wedding planning things you're already doing. Life is so busy, I know. Trust me, I know. Does this really look like a planner that has room for dumb stuff in it? I didn't think so. So, if I'm telling you that you really need to do this engagement session with your photographer, it makes sense to get to know them better, man.
Come in and know me better, man.
The reality is, engagement sessions are not just another wedding industry cash grab. They provide you with useful images and wonderful experiences together that you will treasure forever. It's a great relationship building exercise between you and your photographer. And I guess your partner too. I promise, no one's gonna make you do trust falls, but you might make a new friend in the process. Are you getting an engagement session? Have you already had yours? Comment down below if I've convinced you to call up your photographer and add one so you can bask in each other's love and the bright sunshine from the fireball we endlessly revolve around.